Let's fight. Welcome in the ring to each and every one of you. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. How are you folks doing? We're happy that you all are here. Let's fight. Welcome in the ring. Well, wherever you're joining us from, we're happy that you guys are here with us. Yet another evening. It's pace and power. Thanks for joining us. Wherever you're joining us from, we are delighted to have all of you here with us, folks. It's the evening of Monday, January 20th. Wherever you're joining us from, folks, thank you guys so much for being here with us. We're crossing, we're tossing our T's and dotting our I's. Good to have all of you here with us, whichever page, whichever social media network you're joining us from. Smash one of the emoji buttons in front of you there, folks, and share the live as well. We want as many folks as possible to get the valid, incredible information, folks. Good evening to all of you, each and every one of you. Good night, good night, good night, good night. We're in a holding pattern. Pace and power. Deborah Sharona Lynn, Cheryl Sharona. Good to have you. Wayne and Debbie and Volme, Tracy Clark, Royal Gulliver, Horace Calder. Good to have all of you on the live with us. And just because you all are so special to us, I'm going to ring the bell one more time. For all of you folks, the hundreds of you already with us, just a couple minutes in now. Charles Nelson, good to have you, Charles, and good to have you, Evelina, and I see Arundella is here too. Arundella Biram, good to have you, Arundella, and Evelina, Angela McDonald, good to have all of you. Wonderful folks with us. Rena Max, good to see you there. Lyndon Gill and Deborah Clark, Gil Alicock, Don Sullivan, Doug and Don and Dougie and all the folks. Good to have you, Andrew and Charles and Bella and Les Lynn. Good to have you too. Fennell, Tessa, Wilton Blue. Good to see you there, folks. We are happy and delighted to have all of you with us. To have all of you with we. Yep. Great to have you, folks. Share the live wherever you're joining us from. And smash that emoji button as well, folks. We are happy and privileged that all of you could be here with us. We're still dotting the I's, folks, and crossing the T. We feel that some of the tech we have with us don't want us to be great. But like I said, good to have each and every one of you here with us. Come on now. Good to have all of you here. Godfrey and Colleen and Louisa, Obi Chester. Good to have you. Did I see Angela Jordan? Yes, Angela Jordan. Good to see you on the live too. Lyndon Gills, boots on the ground. You got it right, my brother. You got it right. Wayne and Sonia Massett. Cup says it's cold. And also Sonia's joining us from Maryland. Good to have you, Sonia, and Tessa, and Karen, and Kim, Brenda. Good to have you, Lester. All the other folks joining us. Thank you guys so much. There's always something. There's always something. And sometimes the check-in. The check-in sometimes. Let's see what's happening here. Good to have all of you folks here with us tonight. All right. Let's see if we can help from our end. Good to have all of you here, folks. So nice we can do it twice. So nice. Gail Alicock and Cecilia, and I see Terrell and Lester, Latonia and Roxanne, Penelope. Folks, those of you in the north, you got a new president? What a day. What a day. What a difference a day makes. Ring that bell one time for you all in the north. What a difference. What a difference a day makes. You wake up as president, or you didn't wake up as president. Vice versa. Next thing you know, you're the most powerful man in the world. Trump is in, Biden is out. Such is the nature of life, folks. Such is the nature of life. I'm doing some work at the back end on the fly. Such is the nature of life. And that's why we got to live nice with folks. All of us, we got to live nice with people because, you know, as they say, one day you are the spider, the next day you're the fly. We got to live nice with folks. Amen? Please and thank you. Let us live nice with everybody. I'm trying to get the graphic going. Like I live nice with somebody. They don't want us to be great. They do not want to be. While they're happening, folks, let me tell you that the WPA today had a press conference, and you all know we are in, officially, whether you like it or not, we are in that electoral cycle, generally, and regional elections 2025. They're upon us. General and regional election 2025, they are upon us. We can't run from them. We can't hide from them. We got to face it head on. And so much is happening, folks. Just today, the Working People's Alliance had a press conference. The WPA had a press conference. As I said, I don't just say it. I said because it's true. You know, they had a very, very substantive press conference there. And Dr. David Hines laid out a couple of things for Claudette, saying, get your acts together. Get your acts together. Why don't want to do biometrics? Sing who swing. Why you don't want to do biometrics? You wait and you wait and you wait and you wait. You wait and you wait and you wait. Why you don't want to do biometrics? Why? Folks, take your time and peel your pine. This is what some of what Dr. David Hines said in that press conference out of the Working People's Alliance, the WPA. Take a look and take a listen.
WPA is not surprised that GECOM's chair has sided with the PPP commissioners to deny the use of biometrics at the upcoming general and regional elections. We see this decision as a fatal blow against free, fair, and credible elections in Guyana. If it prevails, Guyana would be entering an election whose outcome would be in question even before the first ballot is cast. This, for the WPA, is a sure recipe for disorder, which could hang around the neck of the country for a long time. As the chair opined, there is no law that prevents GECOM from using biometrics at the election, a view that the opposition-nominated commissioners have long advanced. She further contends that the use of fingerprints derived from this process as the sole form of identification is unconstitutional. Thus, there is need for legislation to facilitate its implementation. While WPA would like to hear a judicial review of this ruling, we have long supported a move to the National Assembly to pass the necessary legislation in time for the pending election. We still believe this is the best, fair, and just route open to GECOM, even with the time left before the election is constitutionally due. We note that after our legal explanation, the chair deems as inadequate the time left to facilitate legislation and the required logistics as the ultimate reason for our ruling against the use of the mechanism. WPA finds this utterly ridiculous from a chairperson who for over 4 years repeatedly denied a review of the last election and dragged their feet on the commission's consideration of the substantive matter of biometrics. The chair cannot have it both ways. You cannot frustrate the process for 4 years and then argue that it's too late to act now. WPA says emphatically that the delay in putting in place this necessary guardrail against electoral fraud, as detected by the recount of the 2020 election, is solely the cause and responsibility of GECOM's chair and the PPP commissioners acting separately or together. In light of what amounts to deliberate and willful delay tactics by these actors, WPA cannot accept this ruling as the final say on the matter. We urge GECOM to immediately begin the process outlined by the chair and amass the necessary resources needed for its speedy implementation. The choice presented by the chair of a compromised election that meets the constitutional deadline versus a credible election that may not meet that deadline is a false and dangerous choice. The remit of GECOM is to ultimately conduct elections that satisfy the asset test of free and fair elections, free from fear and intimidation, and which are consistent with modern democratic norms and international best practices. Towards this end, WPA calls on the joint opposition to reject the chair's ruling and aggressively mobilize public opinion and action to pressure GECOM to reverse it. What is at stake is more than just a routine election. The very national cohesion of our nation is on the line. WPA says unequivocally that there cannot be any credible election without, at the minimum, biometrics, a credible voters list, and an impartial GECOM machinery.
Yep, Dr. Hines said what he said. He said what he said, folks. When the man speak, he spoke. When he speak, he spoke. Full stop. Punto final. What else you want? You can't have it both ways. Love it, love it, love it. You frustrate the whole damn thing, and then it's time too late now. Time too late now. Can't have it both ways, folks. That's us coming with the opener. Folks, I want to do it twice so that we can cross some more T's and dot some more I's. For those of you who might have missed it, that's quite a powerful statement come out of Dr. David Hines of the WP. Claudette, you can have it both ways. So nice, we can do it
WPA
twice.
is not surprised that GECOM's chair has sided with the PPP commissioners to deny the use of biometrics at the upcoming general and regional elections. We see this decision as a fatal blow against free, fair, and credible elections in Guyana. If it prevails, Guyana would be entering an election whose outcome would be in question even before the first ballot is cast. This, for the WPA, is a sure recipe for disorder, which could hang around the neck of the country for a long time. As the chair opined, there is no law that prevents GECOM from using biometrics at the election, a view that the opposition-nominated commissioners have long advanced. She further contends that the use of fingerprints derived from this process as the sole form of identification is unconstitutional. Thus, there is need for legislation to facilitate its implementation. While WPA would like to hear a judicial review of this ruling, we have long supported a move to the National Assembly to pass the necessary legislation in time for the pending election. We still believe this is the best, fair, and just route open to GECOM, even with the time left before the election is constitutionally due. We note that after our legal explanation, the chair deems as inadequate the time left to facilitate legislation and the required logistics as the ultimate reason for our ruling against the use of the mechanism. WPA finds this utterly ridiculous from a chairperson who for over 4 years repeatedly denied a review of the last election and dragged their feet on the commission's consideration of the substantive matter of biometrics. The chair cannot have it both ways. You cannot frustrate the process for 4 years and then argue that it's too late to act now. WPA says emphatically that the delay in putting in place this necessary guardrail against electoral fraud, as detected by the recount of the 2020 election, is solely the cause and responsibility of GECOM's chair and the PPP commissioners acting separately or together. In light of what amounts to deliberate and willful delay tactics by these actors, WPA cannot accept this ruling as the final say on the matter. We urge GECOM to immediately begin the process outlined by the chair and amass the necessary resources needed for its speedy implementation. The choice presented by the chair of a compromised election that meets the constitutional deadline versus a credible election that may not meet that deadline is a false and dangerous choice. The remit of GECOM is to ultimately conduct elections that satisfy the asset test of free and fair elections, free from fear and intimidation, and which are consistent with modern democratic norms and international best practices. Towards this end, WPA calls on the joint opposition to reject the chair's ruling and aggressively mobilize public opinion and action to pressure GECOM to reverse it. What is at stake is more than just a routine election. The very national cohesion of our nation is on the line. WPA says unequivocally that there cannot be any credible election without, at the minimum, biometrics, a credible voters list, and an impartial GECOM machinery.
You heard it there, folks. You cannot have credible elections without biometrics, a clean voters list. No. How many elections without those things? Right? And an impartial GECOM. Well, that part can be a little difficult for Claudette because she has now gone right across the other side. I would love to see the voting statistics out of GECOM Commission. Right? That's almost a double speaking there. Out of the Elections Commission, out of GECOM. I'd like to see the voting pattern. We know it. But I'd like to see the numbers, the hard numbers, an impartial GECOM. So, folks, that's some of what's going down for general and regional elections 2025 as we get into it. We're on the mark. We're on the mark. Come on, Claudette, shape up or ship out. Shape up or ship out. You know, UG is on a trajectory. And I hope this government don't come and do nothing bad, because you know this gets stupid. You know this government is get bazzy. UG is on a trajectory. They received some accreditation locally, even though the auditors, as it were, they're telling us we're some international people. And UG is moving apace in a number of areas. In a number of areas. You tell me, why is it Priya want run out and wrong talk now? Why would Priya run out and want really exemplify this warthog? Monica. Why is that? Well, we can talk about that just now. University of Guyana, some gold business. You must be careful out there. You got your gold, you got your things. Joe Biden, Marcus Garvey, Donald Trump. We got a couple of things, folks, we want to swing your way, and then we're going to circle back to some things happening locally. Folks, I'm so grateful and so thankful for all of you who join us on a nightly basis. Well, you join me in the morning, then you come back in the night. I am so grateful personally for that. I owe y'all one. Each and every one of you, I owe y'all one. Now, some of the things on the card tonight. Let's start with Trump. Trump boy. Trump. Trump is disappointing, you know. Marcia Griffith, Yolanda Joyce, Kim. Trump is not disappointing. Prince Andre, Sharon, Lily. No. Trump being Trump. That's why we gotta be we. Auntie Sandra, you gotta be you, I gotta be me. Trump, let Trump do Trump. Let Trump do Trump. Was the Melania hat for me though? Melania hat come out looking like, right? It's like, but I like to get into people's personal business. But Trump and Melania is like the odd couple. Something and gelling. It's the odd couple. You know? I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them. And while we're not, Trump was sworn in as the, your help me see, 47th? Let me see who following. Lester, Andy, Kim, Mark, Waveney, Tenogny. Is it 47? Andy Romel. Let me go. Is it 47th? Avril Francine. 47th president. Yep. Well, I know we can throw out. You know what I love about Guyana? Brenda, there we go. Correct. Heaven Faith, correct. Asha, some full marks. Marlon Jacobs. You know what I like about us? When we step out, we step out. You see, when we hold to represent this country, we're going to represent. We're going to put aside our differences, put on sartorial splendor, and we're going to step out. Because when we speak, we spoke. Of course, so we were so excited to know who Guyana was going to send to represent all of us at this inauguration. See, when you're operating at a high level, you got to step up, you know. You got to step up. Not a lot of people can step up. Right? Not a lot of people can shift between you're grounding, you're down there with the masses, but you could step up. You know, when I was growing up, my mother said, always have we used to say saltire pants, a soft pants, a white shirt, a black shoes. She said you must be able to shop at the ball anytime. Like when we speak, we spoke, man. Some of y'all too young to understand that. Zion Bang the Stewie. And she says, a couple of us, Lachman Aziz. You must always got a black pants, a dress pants, a white shirt, black shoes. You must always be able to step up. Let me go to send critics. Let me go to person, please and thank you. Let me go to send critics. They should send critics. I thought so. You know, I thought when I saw the individual, I said, it's critics. You're gone far, boy. When you speak, you spoke. It's critics. It took me a couple of minutes, right? Because I know ambassadors and representatives of a country, they usually go neutral. We ain't getting into weeds of the politics, right? We ain't getting in the weeds of the politics. The same way you wouldn't expect to see the American ambassador saying one Guyana, wearing a T-shirt, one Guyana. No, that's political sloganeering. That's not state business. That's political sloganeering. So I was still looking for the high official. We're still looking for the high official that the government sent to represent us. I saw somebody looking like Sam Hines saying, let's make America great again. Make America great again. I saw somebody looking like Sam. I know a diplomat wouldn't do that. I know, folks. A diplomat wouldn't do that. Right? NASA. Well, as Jack Dio said, big head Sam Hole now, man. Lefty. Right? He's allowed to be a little senile. That's what the man said. Right? Him with oil and gas and this. Big head, you know, Sam had big like me. That's what the man said. Lefty, you know. He had a different age and stage, but don't who Sam Hines handled us there in Washington? Huh? Who Sam Hines handled us there in Washington? You see, friends, family, and favorites, even though the man can't represent me well, they don't mind, you know. Big money to keep him in Washington. Big money to make him our ambassador to Washington. Big money. But they don't mind. You see? Sam out to their way. So they can do what they got to do. Thank you, Irfan. Thank you. We were told Biden pardoned a lot of people today. Pardon me, pardon. A lot of names called. I'm sure I heard Sherry Duncan in our list there. Althea Galloway, didn't I hear your name? Louisa, Ian, Andrew. I think I heard a couple of y'all. Trump pardoned quite a few people. Marcus Garvey was one of those persons who was pardoned by Donald Trump posthumously. Yeah. Marcus Garvey did a lot of good things. I mean, that could be a show by itself. When you read this man's resume, you know, some people resume thin. Some people resume say thin. They got to start, you know, 45-year-old man. You got to start primary school, since St. Aloysius. Resume 10, not Marcus Garvey. Did some fantastic things. And I saw current chair, Mia Motley, put out a statement thanking President Donald Trump and claiming some amount of success with CARICOM leaders who apparently had approached the Trump administration to make this possible, who was part of the chorus saying it's about time now. We liberate Marcus Garvey's name from these soiled pages of history. Somebody ought to write that down. Please help me. We got to liberate Marcus Garvey. There are a lot of good things. A lot of good things. Was way ahead of his time. Way ahead of his time. And so posthumously, want to ring the bell one time. Big Uncle Marcus. Ring the bell one time for Big Uncle Marcus. They'll have some fantastic things. Folks, you got to occupy till Father comes, you know. Occupy. Don't waste time. Board Nesson. Damn blinds in them. Occupy. And those are some of the things happening internationally. Budget, folks. Bullshit 2025. I mean, budget 2025. It's upon us. It's upon us. I want Ashley them know. Anil and Barath, Jack Leo. We coming for y'all. Damn it. Debates can't start Friday, fast enough. The debates start on Friday into next week. And then we have the scrutiny of the estimates when the different budgetary agencies come before the National Assembly. We can quiz them. We can drill down deep. We can drill down deep. And see, Ashley, he can't take too much of drilling, you know. He hadn't done with in handcuffs, and he know he can't take too much of drilling, or we can drill down. He can run back to Dubai, becoming Ashley, and we coming strong for you. Pack of nonsense. Madness. That's how former Finance Minister Winston Jordan characterized. It's chaos. Should I finish my sentence? That's how former Minister of Finance Winston Jordan characterized the 2025 budget. A pack of madness. Madness. These boys don't care though. You know? The state paying the gas, the light, the state brushing the teeth for them, wiping the feeding them, everything. Buying the Ozempic, flying them to Dubai. You know? So much so that they now believe it's divine right of kings. But I want y'all know. I'm getting biblical now. What is for them? Robo, I'm going in the speed run for them. I want y'all know. Father watching, you know. Yeah? The good book says he saw Satan fall like lightning. One day upstairs, next thing you know, he down beneath. He saw Satan fall like lightning. This morning, Trump is president. Tonight, private citizen. Just like that. They forget 2015, you know. This government, they forget 2015. Pack of nonsense they're doing. Take a listen to some of what former Finance Minister Winston Jordan has said on budget 2025.
Former Finance Minister Winston Jordan has described budget 2025 as a disaster. The budget was presented to the National Assembly on Friday by Minister with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh.
It must be a farewell budget. They must have seen the writing on the wall. Because this disaster, even by the PPP standards, must be ringing in the ears of those who hold the reins of that party. As of today, I don't recall their greatest of cheerleaders, the private sector. I don't recall them coming out even with an initial statement.
Jordan said that some 3 hours of the presentation was spent on cussing the coalition, the PNCR, and anyone critical of the government. He said that everything stated could be debunked. He said that the government sought to control everything, even information on the weather.
I would not be surprised if the computation of the inflation rate has been taken out of the purview of the Bureau of Statistics and be placed elsewhere. And while some people may be confusing cost of living and price increases with change in prices and indices of prices, the long and short for the average person in the man in the street and so on, he don't want to hear all these fancy things about indices and prices and so on. What he is facing, right, food on the table, and what he is facing is a brutal set of price increases day in and day out.
The government said that inflation in 2024 was just about 2.9%. Malnourishment increased dramatically during this period when Guyana has oil revenue.
Short-term interventions are for short-term problems. Temporary interventions are for problems that you perceive to be temporary as a result of some malformation, some structural defect or something that will quickly overcome itself. Mm-hmm. But the issue of poverty will not be solved by short-term interventions. The issue of poverty are at 48%, because we didn't see any number different than 48%.
In fact, the poverty level is said to be 53%. Jordan said that a one-off cash grant can't solve anything.
48% poverty cannot be solved by an increase in the threshold from $100,000 to $130,000.
Where it is consistent with the minimum wage of some.
Short-term poverty cannot be attacked by small increases in old age pension. So you see, all these short-term things, while recognizable, and perhaps while needed as temporary relief, poverty has to be solved ultimately by long-term policies, by structural reorientation of the economy, by the creation of permanent jobs of high income, by substantial and measurable improvement in areas of education, health, and so on.
There is also need for an equitable distribution of income and resources.
Yep. If you're spending billions, people's lives must improve. People's lives must improve. And I won't be the proverbial ostrich and bury my head in the sand and say, they won't do nothing. But they do nothing significant. For the billions they have spent, they have not done anything of significance. See, you haven't bothered with TikTok, Susan. Did you know we built a well? Huh? Trump said they got boys and girls. Did you know we did X? We built wells, though. We built schools as well, too. Did you know that, Sue? Yeah? Did you know that? Folks, election 2025 is upon us. But the election budget, it is upon us. We caught up with TikTok, Susan, quite recently in Jamaica. Well, if so, she ran out. But tell the folks there in Jamaica, TikTok, Susan, did you know what we have done? Did you know? Yeah, no, TikTok, Susan, man. She's smiling ear to ear, man. Minister TikTok, ear to ear, she's smiling. Like a little sampling of what TikTok, Susan said. Right? A little sampling. And this was at Jamaica, about 4 days ago. Take a listen.
As you know, our country has been on a tremendous path to progress, something that we promised when we came to the people 4 years ago. And we've seen remarkable changes The landscape of our country is changing, the physical infrastructure. And as we go through the transformation in each sector, the things start to change over time too. The demands change, the challenges change, the requests change. And so it's always important that we remain connected to the ground.
Yeah. Did you know TikTok, Susan? Did you know, Minister TikTok, that there's a saying that while some things change, some things remain the same. The days might change, but the conditions under which Guyanese live might remain the same and have largely remained the same. Today is Monday. Sabbath News put out that article, how the cost of living affecting you. You can see, read it. TikTok, Susan. You know, a lot of things can change. And that very meeting, there in Chameri, did you know a doctor from the health center spoke? Yes. And you can tell she ain't come with no politics. The presidency come to listen to the doctor, went to have her issues listened to. Did you know that TikTok, Susan? Listen to some of what a doctor at a health center in Chameri, where Irfan went to lock and check. Right? Did you know a lot of things have changed? Take a listen.
I am not a member of the community of Tamari, but I work here. I'm the only doctor at Tamari Health Center. So I serve this community every day. And I'm here this afternoon because I have some concerns about the facilities that we have at the health center. I have concerns about us not getting drugs in a timely manner. We have to ration out drugs. We have to tell patients, well, you can't get 2 months of drugs this month. You could only get one. You're going to have to check back in with us to see if we have the medication for you. A few months ago, we were out of simple things like Panadol. We had to ask our patients to be buying nasal drops for their babies when they're when they have colds, right? When I first came to Tamari Health Center, we didn't even have blades to incise abscesses or gloves, right? I had spent my own money, bought the gloves, bought the blades, came to work, did my best for this community. I'm advocating for the staff at the health center. We've currently been without flushable toilets for several months. We're fetching water in buckets to flush the toilet for the staff at the health center. We have had issues where the health centers have been flooding because of the toilets. So we're having to dispose of our limited supplies. When the water gets in and soaks the gauze and all of those things, we have to dispose of those things. We're not able to use them anymore. Then we have delays in getting the medication to us, getting the supplies to us. I don't know if it's because that you're coming today, they sent some supplies yesterday to tide us over. You know how those things go. We don't have any AC in our pharmacy bond. So the pharmacist has to turn on her outside AC, open the door, and she's often cold to ensure that the drugs are stored at the right temperature. We have trees growing onto the building. We've asked for those trees to be cut down. The compound hasn't been weeded since November. We have trees growing onto the building. That's eventually going to cause a problem with the roof. So we have a lot of concerns with the health center. We don't have a permanent cleaner. We don't have a clerk. So we have 2 pathway workers. They come in more than their 10 days because they recognize the need for us to be clean and tidy, and they work more than the time they're supposed to help us out. But we have to carry a lot of that weight.
That is unfortunate.
Over to you, TikTok Sue. Did you know, Susan, what was happening to Mary? Did you know? 5 years in, this government has spent about $5 trillion. That is trillion with a capital trill. $5 trillion, folks. They're fetching water in buckets at the health center in Chameri. They're fetching water in buckets at the Chai Jagan International Airport. Folks, 5 years in, flush the toilets in the airport, fetching water. That sounds like Tamir to me. And you can tell this lady didn't come with no axe to grind. She didn't come with no business. Like, even you see, I'm telling you, you're doing nonsense. She's just speaking as a professional. You come to hear, here's what's happening by your clinic. You know? Here's what happened right by your clinic. Y'all see story here? And that is why Leader of the Opposition, Aubrey Norton, said in his preliminary response to Budget 2025, the trouble in the numbers. Just like the crosses at GECOM, they're troubling the numbers. Right? They're not disaggregating, give me a big percentage. They're fiddling with the numbers. And that's why they can tell you, oh, 100% of the clinics in this country, you know, are on the up and up. Everything is nice and dandy. You know, if you had told them, one of us had told them about that clinic in Jamaica, it's a lie. Rabble rousers, propagandists. No clinic in this country is like that. None. Liars, riggers. Riggers all. 2020, 2020, 2020. Leader of the opposition. The numbers, the numbers, the numbers. The numbers.
Opposition leader Aubrey Norton has said that it's impossible to compare equals with unequals. He was responding to Budget 2025 and the comparisons in Guyana to the days when there were non-oil budgets. He said that even the budgetary figures can't be trusted.
What they have done is speaking in percentage. If I have 2 oranges and I carry that up to 4 oranges, I increase it by 100%. Sure. But it doesn't tell, if I say we increase orange production by 100%, it doesn't tell you how much oranges you had and how much. And so a lot of these percentages they are talking about is to conceal the fact that there haven't been significant increases.
Norton said that the government shied away from actual increases. He also noticed the absence of the word poverty from the budget.
This budget has nothing in it to reduce or eliminate poverty. And they're so disingenuous. I want to go to what he said about old age pension. He said the APNU promised 100% increase. And in 2020, when the APNU came to power, it was 13,000. Okay? And then he proceeded to say that at present, up to 2024, it is 20,050 or something to that effect. And announced that there will be an increase, 100% increase on 2020 rather than on 2024.
The reality is that the pension increased by $5,000 over 2024. He said that comparing the increases that affect people's lifestyle is small. The opposite is noticed when it comes to the award of contracts. The hike in the tax threshold is non-existent according to Norton.
But the minimum wage is 130. So nobody there will be paying tax. So what are the benefits to be had from the small man from this 10%, this 10,000 on every other one?
He said that the budget has no social security network. It also has no cost of living measure.
Focuses on buildings. Tell us, why are you building all of these hospitals and you are not having the staff for it? And there's a fundamental flaw in the budget. One would have thought they would have incentivized people to want to stay here and work. Absolutely. This budget will chase more people out of Guyana.
This is because there is no incentive to work. And for all the expenditure, the government has been unable to complete one project on time.
Yep. That's what the leader of the opposition said. You don't think it's one thing wrong with this country? You don't think it's one thing wrong with this country here? You're building hospitals. You can't even take care of the ones you got. These hospitals you're building. You know these folks here. Is some real chameleons. You see that clinic in Tamari? That's not an anomaly, it's not a one-off. Former Finance Minister Winston Jordan told us about kids and malnutrition in this country over the weekend. Take a listen.
There's a heading that is called Nutritional Status of Children Under 5. You see there?
Yes.
Nutritional status of children under 5.
Article 510.
Severely malnourished in 2020. In 2020, severely malnourished children was 0.1. 0.1. By 2024, when you got all this money, between 2020 and 2025, adding in the latest budget,
it's 0.5%.
The government would have spent $4.609 billion. And between that period, the severely malnourished children under 5 has deteriorated from 0.1 to 0.5 in 2024. 0.1 when we had resources and when COVID was kicking dust, to 0.5.
Even the moderate malnourished.
Yes, I'm coming to that. Moderately malnourished children have has almost tripled from 0.5 in 2020 to 1.4 in 2024.
Yep. So a lot of misplaced priorities. A lot of hospitals building, that's all nice and good, but who can man them? The good lady just told us she's the only doctor at Chameri Health Center, the only doctor. Who can man them? Another thing Mr. Jordan spoke about. You see these hospitals? Who can man them? Who can man these hospitals? Who?
I just wanted to read a very interesting statistic that I think you should read out also. This is the number of nurses per 10,000. Same, I think.
Yeah, same.
In 2020, it was 27.6. But in 2024, it's 21.8. We are losing our nurses while you building 12 new hospitals and specialty hospital for women and thing and all these things. We are losing our nurses, and this is a remarkable statistic. Remarkable.
Yep. Somebody say priorities mix up. Somebody say priorities mix up. But see, them boys gotta spend, baby, spend. It got a purpose. Them boys gotta spend, baby, spend. Because on budget 2025 over the weekend, the Leave the Lines for Change Nigel Hughes spoke to this very issue of who getting big contracts. It looks a certain way. Right? And it reeks of a certain thing. Big contracts. It's you? It's who? It's who? Take a listen.
That $209 billion for roads, which is just a part of the $700 billion, is what you call wealth transfer. It is as if the state is writing a check straight to these people who are contractors, who are their supporters. And it's a small number. It is literally the transfer. It's as if the state is saying, here is $209 million. You go and do what you want.
That was leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes. He said that the state declines to check the quality of the work.
You've seen that in the Tupui contract. The state hasn't even recovered the advance it paid to that company. In the Guy America contract on the Schoonard Road, they paid $600 million over the engineer's estimate. That is as if they wrote a check, not as if, it's exactly what they did. They wrote a check for $600 million for no real work. Because
he said that people must understand what the government does.
The People's Progressive Party comes from a history of putting working class people at the top of its agenda. It has always, it's founder fought for sugar workers, because the whole idea was that the working class had to experience a better level of socio-economic development, fancy word, which means that their circumstances, the poverty in which they lived, the hard grind work of cutting cane and going home and all the other challenges they had, like alcoholism, abuse, etc. It was to elevate the working class, not just sugar workers, people who were dock
You
workers.
said that the PPP has moved from improving the general lot of the people to a party that's giving $209 billion to contractors.
They haven't spent this money to reduce your cost of living. They haven't spent this money to give you salaries that will make you comfortable. This money has been spent just to transfer it to this group of people who are going to finance their election. And that money, like I said, if you go and build a house, remember, you got to pay for concrete. You got to pay for aggregate. Where the concrete comes from, overseas. You got to spend the US dollars to buy the concrete, right?
These contractors are buying the foreign currency, leading to the present shortage in Guyana.
So it's as if the government is giving these people this money. They're changing it into US dollars. So they're eating up the very little US dollars we're getting from the oil resources and taking it out to the country where they go and buy fancy houses and live an even better life. While most of the people, all the civil servants, the cane cutters, the nurses, the doctors, etc., on a salary where you're paying tax, they reduce the tax by 3%. And once you're over $130, 130,000, you're paying 1/4 of that in tax.
Yep. You heard it there, folks. You heard it there. Did you know? Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know gold in a bad way? Babylon, your throne gone down, gone down. Babylon, your throne gone down. Gold in a bad way. They're telling us, Ashley Singh said in 2024, there was a minimal growth in gold, 0.5. 0.5. Huh? You know that they blame the Mohammeds. They want to say some people are declaring the gold. Who you gonna blame now? Huh? Who you gonna blame now? 0.5. They said they are facing a lot of challenges on the declarations. Smuggle. You see this government? It's a pity then says up new AFC. It's a pity then says the Granger faction. It's the Granger faction and fraction. It's a pity. Everything bad. Somebody else. Everything good is them. They blame El Nino. They blame chikungunya, Bigfoot, smallpox, chickenpox. Everything they blaming but themselves. But see when good come for share? Oh, did you know? Sugan take to Facebook. Once she put to Mary, she was right there. Nobody gonna tell you, you were right there. Let me TikTok yet. Let me Glenn Nile voice. Let me TikTok. Put this one too on TikTok. Did you know 0.5 growth? Wasting time, people in this country, man. Wasting time. You know, wasting time. University of Ghana to keep moving forward. Received their accreditation quite recently. We're skipping through some things now as we watch to the top of the hour. And continues to do well. This is my alma mater. Degree in law. Diploma in communication. So they ain't come out too bad. Got to finish off the masters now. Started it. I got to finish up. Yes, I know. I got to finish it. Got to finish it up. So UG has received this institutional accreditation after a long time. Did you know that? After a long time. Right? And they're moving in the right direction. Vice Chancellor Professor Paloma Mohammed said that she's grateful, for all those persons who've been with the university. I saw prayer like coming after she a little bit. Value for dollar. Right? Prayer think everybody that passed through UG is half skull, educated like her. Oh, you gotta give value for dollar. Well, you better give back your tuition. You better give back your tuition. I love what the Vice Chancellor said in response to this nonsense. by Priya Manik Chan, the sleeper. The sleeper, Priya the sleeper Manik Chan. Love what the Vice Chancellor said. But going, value for dollar. Vice Chancellor said the workers here have been working beyond the call of duty without extra pay or improved UG standards for a long time. It's only in 2015 coming up, things started to turn around at you. Come on now, you're telling the truth. People didn't got no concern with UG. I was there. They had no time and concern. So don't come around really funny. This newfound love. The problem with Priya is that there's waltzing this place every now and again. They waltzing Melanie and say, oh, I love you, Melanie, every now and again. You're waltzing to Mary every now and again. If they were there consistently, they would have known those problems. You see all this, they say movement is not the same as progress. And that's what they got. A lot of movement, a lot of fancy gallop. How come they made into Mary for no all that happening into Mary? We got blades, the tree growing through the building. We got fetch water for the toilet. We even got Panadol. So with these grunts people there. The Vice Chancellor in response to this value for dollar nonsense from Priya the sleeper Manik Chan. The Vice Chancellor says, we're not upset with anybody asking us about our quality for money because we've been punching over our weight class and delivering more than we've gotten through sweat equity. I love it. Sweat equity that the staff put in. And that's the truth. Some of these lecturers at University of Ghana is a labor of love. It is a damn labor of love. Price pass people. That's the problem here. Should damn I pass. Dr. Paloma Mohammed herself. There's no fake doctorate nobody give you from no non-accredited, no-name university. You got to go and study. And a woman like Paloma Mohammed with that kind of qualification could be any other part of the world here in this political nonsense. Peace and quiet, but they love Guyana and they want to serve the country. And then you got these sleepers to deal with. Sleepers, they trips in and sleepwalking in UG and act like you know something. I had some caliber people when I was studying law. Could have gone out to this country anytime and done extremely well, but it chose to be here. Are you talking nonsense? I had a fantastic professor, Calvin Eversley, Harvard studied, bright, bring the highest wattage bulb you got, the lumens and whatever else, brighter than that. Been to Harvard. When I saw Calvin Eversley went to Harvard, I said, let me see where this man, how much is tuition at Harvard? When I see the tuition per year for Harvard, I close the damn thing. I turn on the internet, put the computer in the car now. Yeah. In that man dying days. Let me talk about going above and beyond. That man coming to class. I think he was receiving some kind of treatment. His neck wrapped up in gauze, his hand wrapped in gauze, and teaching our kids, all kinds of law, international law in this, international law in that. You could see him writhing in pain and just death. Hell, you talking about value for money? You trips in one time and you don't look back yet. So don't come around with funny. Since you graduate, you must just go back. Just gone back and talking about value for dollar. Are you wicked? I was there as a student. I was there as student president of the University of Ghana. I sat at council, sat at academic board. What the hell you can tell us? The amount of days we protested your administration in the past for betterment at UG, and y'all didn't get no time. Don't come around, we funny. Some of us have remembered. I tell you, we set for y'all. Friday can't come fast enough. We set for y'all prayer. But knowing you, you can sleep through the whole thing. You can sleep through the whole thing. Right? Because when you turn off the lights at the office at 10 a.m., you're gone on by the guard service. Pim, pim. Done with that. Moving on. Who no? Who no? Chance and prayers with this family. The Gampats. Basmati transition quite recently. This was a 55-year-old who was involved in that gas explosion at Fowles on the east coast of Demerara, passed away on Sunday morning after 2 weeks in critical condition at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. Our thoughts for this whole family. You know, the story is told that they got up one morning, smelled gas in the house, they said. And I guess Basmati made a mistake of trying to light the stove. The whole house blew up. And herself and her husband, Manu Suku, they were caught up in that explosion, and he remains hospitalized, they tell us, with 68% of his body burnt, but they say showing signs of recovery. Basmati wasn't so fortunate, and she transitioned, as we said, on Sunday morning. Our thoughts and prayers with this family. Our thoughts and prayers are with them, folks. Our thoughts and prayers with them. Never seek to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. 100 pounds of ganja. Found left side hustle. Things tight in this country. But if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Police ranks on Sunday found 113 pounds. That's, folks, that's not recreational use. 113 pounds. But who knows? The madness this government putting you through, that's probably the quantity you got to get yourself out of this place. 113 pounds. I dare say again, can't do the time. Don't do it. Don't do it. We're wrapping up, folks. We're wrapping up. We're going somewhere. We're wrapping up, folks. All right? They tell us that GPL just came into a largesse. They won a case. $250 million for a damaged submarine cable. Yep. Justice Narishwar Harnanan ruled in favor of the Ghana Power and Light Incorporated, awarding them $255 million in damages, interest, and costs against a shipping company that negligently damaged GPL submarine cable, and this was in 2020, November 2020. $250 million. Yeah, that could keep the lights on for a little longer. That could keep the lights on for a little longer. And then you got some folks now facing charges for stealing cattle and escaping from custody. Different, you know. Different. You know, the folks in the Aranaputa Valley, North Rubin, used to be so quiet and docile and peace-loving. Like the whole place is changing up. The whole place, the complexion, the tenor, the tone, just changing. So Carlton James, 29-year-old unemployed man from Aranaputa Valley, North Rupununi, been sentenced to 10 months. You want to escape now? Huh? It's Houdini now. You think it's Houdini. That's going to do it for us. And they said this evening, folks, let's end with former Minister of Finance, Winston Jordan, for the closer, folks. You see these things that are handing out quick. Year end, if you see pace for them to spend out the money that goes into what leader of the lines of change Nigel Hughes said. What Nigel Hughes said. Friends, family, and favorite. Why this frenetic pace to hand out contracts as the year is drawing to a close? The checkbooks still open. Why is that? Take a look, take a listen. The closer, folks.
They are saying to us that they have almost completely implemented the capital program that was 40% implemented at mid-year.
Not mid-year, by end October, November.
In the October, November. How will this happen? Because maybe within the period October to December,
60% get done.
60% get done by calling in people. Because remember, you suddenly seen a raft of projects, people going with shovel and digging and saying how they start in school and they start in this and all these things. And people, instead of getting the regular 10 or 15% advance mobilization, advance, some they get 40, right? As you know, in the case of the man who got to build these towers, office towers, in 3 consecutive budget, they went for money and draw out all the money.
And no towers.
And there are no towers. So where is the money if the man hasn't been given all the money? Because they cannot keep the money, but they are saying that the man has only been advanced, I think, 30% or 40%. So who is keeping the rest of the money that should have gone back to the consult fund because it wasn't being used? This is how they will assume, and because they draw down that money, it will show up as capital expenditure for the year. And this is what they have been doing. Yes.
Yep. And there's where we leave it, folks. That's our time for this evening, and that's our problem. Thank you guys so much for being here with us for the last hour, 6 minutes. Joseph Winslow is here, there, and Alfred, Edward Broom, Sandra Hanover, Auntie Sandra, Marcy Agard, Yonet, Edward. I see we got Glenford and Lucille. Jimbo is here as well. Lester and Charles and Ray. Thank you guys so much. Devon, good to have you, Devon. Valerie Clark, Yolanda, Yonet, Michelle, Jolly. Folks, over 3,000 of you joined us for yet another night, touching our hearts. Osmond Hodge, Audrey Charles, Candy Linda Jit, good to have you with us tonight. Candy Horace, Calder, good to have you too, and Brian and McGarrel, Suvelle, and Coretta. Coretta McDonald, how you doing? Good to see you on the live as well. Donna and Andrew, Bella, Neon, Denny's Wonder, good to have all of you here, folks. That's going to do it for us. As they said, that's our time, that's our program, folks, and that's the last bell. Stay safe until we